My name is Snigdha. I'm a psychologist, and I talk to so many people who feel like they're just treading water. On the outside, they seem to have it all together. But on the inside, it is a completely different story. So today, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people go through, but almost no one talks about: high functioning depression. So let's really break this down. From the outside, you might see someone who seems like they have it all figured out, right? They're getting amazing grades, they're killing it at work, their social life looks perfect. But on the inside, that exact same person can feel completely hollow, totally drained, and just hanging on by a thread. This gap, this space between looking fine and feeling lost is the absolute heart of what we're talking about today. And this gap creates what you could call a perfect illusion, where everything on the surface looks totally okay, even great, when it's really not. And this whole experience, it actually has a name that helps us understand it a little better. Now, it's really important to know that high-functioning depression isn't an official clinical diagnosis. You're not going to find it in a medical textbook. Instead, think of it as a really, really helpful way to describe this specific experience of navigating those depressive feelings while still somehow showing up for life.
So, what does it actually feel like to be on the inside of this? To really get it, there's this incredible analogy that a lot of mental health professionals use.
I mean, this analogy is just perfect, right? That calm, graceful glide on the surface, that's the straight A student, the super reliable employee, the friend who's always there for everyone. But what you don't see is the frantic, exhausting paddling happening just below the water, doing everything it can just to keep from sinking. And let me tell you, the feelings under that surface are very, very real. The symptoms are often the exact same ones you'd find in major depression. We're talking about that persistent sadness, not caring about your favorite hobbies anymore, sleeping way too much or way too little, and just struggling with that negative voice in your head. The only real difference is that the person has gotten really good at hiding it all behind a mask of productivity. So that brings up a really big question. How is this even possible? Why are some people able to keep up this outward appearance of functioning while others can't? Well, there are actually a few key reasons. For some people, the symptoms themselves might just be a little less intense than what you'd see in a major depressive episode. Think of it less like a sharp, debilitating pain and more like a constant low-grade ache that's just always there in the background. It's still incredibly draining, but it can be just manageable enough to push through the day. Another huge reason is something we call masking. This is when someone becomes an absolute expert at putting on a brave face. They learn how to act like everything is okay for their family, their friends, their teachers, creating that perfect illusion we talked about, even when their world feels like it's crumbling inside. It's really a survival tactic, especially when you feel all this pressure to always be on. And this brings up a super important point. Sometimes that high-functioning part is really selective. Someone might be an absolute rock star at their job, but what you don't see is that they can't even get out of bed on the weekends, or their apartment is a mess, or they've completely cut themselves off from their friends. They're pouring every ounce of energy they have into one area while the others just fall apart. And all of this, maintaining the illusion, the frantic paddling, the masking, it comes at a huge, huge cost. It takes an unbelievable amount of energy. Think about it this way. For someone who isn't dealing with depression, doing a simple load of laundry might take up, say, 5% of their daily energy. But for someone who is dealing with depression, that same exact task can feel like it takes 10 times that amount. Yeah, they might get it done, but the internal cost is just massive. And here's the thing, this is not a sustainable way to live. You can't just keep overdrawing from your energy account forever. Eventually, it leads to burnout. And without any kind of support or treatment, the depression underneath it all can get worse. Just because you're coping right now doesn't mean you can keep it up forever. And this brings me to the most important part of our chat today. If any of this is sounding even a little bit familiar, please, please know this. You deserve to feel better than just fine. A huge reason this goes unnoticed is that we often talk ourselves out of our own feelings. If you're still getting good grades or holding down a job, you might tell yourself, it can't be that bad, can it? And because other people don't see the struggle, they can't give you the help that you really need. I want to be so clear about this. You do not have to hit rock bottom to deserve help. You don't need to wait for a total crisis. Your struggle is valid right now, no matter how functional you might seem to everyone else. Because look, the goal of getting help isn't just about keeping your head above water. It's not about just surviving. The goal is to feel good again. It's about actually being able to enjoy your life, not just endure it. You truly deserve to live well.
So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. When you look at your own life, or maybe the life of someone you care about, ask this: are you just staying afloat, or are you truly living? The answer to that question could be the very first step toward finding your way back to the good stuff.